Hello, everybody. Uh, I am gonna present a special presentation today. This video was brought to you by Mother Nature, the organic nature. Nothing is above Mother Nature. This is my first time doing a video like this, so bear with me. I'm trying to scale up my videos, and I'm trying to make this extremely clear and extremely transparent for anybody to understand this kind of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, metaphysical knowledge. First off, before I get started, I'm gonna check the camera real quick to make sure it's not blurred, so give me a second. So we're good. I have about 34 minutes, and I wanna speak on the masculine and feminine forces, and then after I speak on the masculine and feminine forces, I'm also gonna speak on the binary and trinary systems. That's gonna be next. It's gonna relate to what I have here. And really, I wanna get people to understand who they are as a human being. We walk around all day as a man, predominantly masculine. We walk around all day as a female, predominantly feminine. And we never really understood the components of the human being. We never understood the components of who we are as humans. And something I learned throughout my journey, my spiritual journey, is that we have both the masculine and feminine forces within the body. So what that really means, if you're a man, if you're a masculine male, predominantly you're masculine, but also you have the feminine component to you. And before I jump right into that, I kind of want to go deeper into the masculine force and the feminine force. So if you are a man and you are predominantly the masculine force, masculinity, we all have our own perception. We all have our own idea of what masculine is, what masculinity is. And predominantly, in my opinion, do your research. Don't take what I'm saying at face value. I like for people to do their own research. One thing I stress is being clear and transparent with the information you're presenting to people, because it's important that you are a critical thinker. So, in my opinion, what the masculine force is we're like an anchor. The man is like an anchor. Predominantly, we are, we're the shot callers, we're the leaders. We delegate things. We're the ones with the pride and the ego, the alpha energy, that kind of force, that kind of energy. And then when you look at the feminine, if you're a woman, you are predominantly feminine, but you also have the masculine component to your body as well. So when you are in your feminine, when you're predominantly in your feminine, what that means, in my opinion, is that you're the caretaker. You're the nurturer, you're the lover, you're more submissive, and the feminine force is the creator. You're the creator of all things. You have the ability to create, and that's what I believe. That's what I know. Also, it's proven. You look at Mother Nature, you look at the woman, how the woman can get pregnant, how she can produce, how she can have children, multiple children, and be abundant. So the woman, when you're looking at the feminine force on the scientific level, is the reproductor, is creation. Creation continues. Creation continues to go and go and go and go. And opposite to that, you have the masculine, which we're not creators. The man isn't a creator. We have the creative force, we have the creative power, but we're not a creator in the physical sense, to where the woman can get pregnant and keep reproducing, right? So what I want to show people, because I've made this video so many times, I've explained this so many times, but I never had a whiteboard or a chalkboard to kind of give you the the visual of what I'm saying. Usually it's just the audio. Today I want to give you the visual, and I only have like 30 minutes probably at this point. So what I have here is the masculine. This is a man, and I have the feminine, right? And right here you can see the minus. That stands for the phallus. That stands for the man, the masculinity. And then right here I have the plus. That stands for the feminine, because the woman is trinary, and we'll get into that later. But that's the feminine. So when you look at the human body, when you look at the man is predominantly masculine and feminine. And when you look at the woman is predominantly feminine and then masculine. So we weren't taught this information. We were not taught this kind of knowledge. Therefore, we identify with just being masculine for males, and for females, you only identify with being feminine. That's a huge problem, because now you didn't receive the other half of the information that you were supposed to get. And the reason why you didn't receive the other half of the information you were supposed to get is because the information that was presented to you was to keep you in conflict with yourself. It was to keep you in division with yourself. It was to keep you from identifying who you really are as a human being. So you never got to the full totality of the truth with who you are as a human being. So you can never figure out how to balance out the chemicals, how to balance out the masculine and feminine, the feminine and the masculine. So because if you've never received this information before, right? This is for people who've never received this information before. If you never received this information before, you're walking around predominantly thinking you're a masculine male. If you're a woman, you're predominantly thinking you're feminine, right? And again, that creates conflict. Now, why is this important? Because the reason why this is important, the reason why it's important to know who you are, The reason why it's important to know who you are, because you have energetic potential. You have a spiritual potential within the human vessel. The human vessel, we have levels to the human vessel. And if you aren't aware of the potential that you have as a human being, then you're not going to be able to vibrate at your capacity. You know, if we are under the impression that we're just masculine all the time, let me make it if I'm a man and I'm under the impression that I'm just masculine all the time, right? Boom. If I'm under the impression that I'm just masculine and masculine, mathematically that doesn't work out. You cannot reach the energetic potential that you are designed to reach. As a human being, we came here to be limitless. We came here to elevate. So as a man, if I never come across the knowledge, if I never come across the information, I don't know that I have no limits. At this level, in this state right here, let's say this is the elevated level, right? This is your elevated, you're elevated right here, right? No limits. Non-elevated right here. This is let's go, boom, elevated, right? Excuse the writing, it's kind of, you know. So if you're not elevated, guess what? You're only gonna be at a limit. You're only gonna limit yourself, because your capacity, your energetic potential is much greater, right? You vibrate. We have vibrations. We have frequencies. There's 4 phases of matter, and in the physical, in the flesh, we go up. We go up. We only elevate, right? So as a masculine male, and for the feminine, you only go up, but you cannot go up if you are under the impression that you are just straight masculine, right? And the same thing goes for the feminine, right? So when you start to figure out that, okay, like as a masculine male, if you're a woman, as a feminine woman, I have both, components to me. You start to learn how to balance those out, because when you look at women today, they're not just all feminine, girly. You have women who are tomboys. You have women who present more masculine than feminine, and that's because they have both components within them. Then when you look at the males, you have males who are predominantly masculine, and then you have males who also express their feminine as well. So you start to see guys leaning towards feminine things. They start to wear, feminine products, and that goes into the gender, right? But predominantly, you want to make sure you know who you are, and the goal for this is to figure out how to balance it. Because once you balance it, you get to elevate. Because once you figure out that you are a masculine and a feminine force, you're no longer walking around as a limited being. Now you become limitless. Now you start to raise your level of vibration, you start to raise your level of frequency, right? Does that make sense to people? I'm gonna check the camera because I do have a limited time and a limited space, so excuse me really quick. So that was about 10 minutes. The video is pretty clear. I hope you can see me. It's not really about me. I really want you to pay attention to what's being presented, right? So let's call this right here masculine and feminine forces. Now, the moment you understand this is a math problem. This is a math problem with yourself internally. So before you can go externally and deal with things externally and confront things externally, you have to go internal and realize who you are as a human being, not a man, not a woman, but a human being. You have to understand the design and the makeup and the components of the human vessel. It's just like a bicycle. Once you understand the bicycle, you know how to ride a bicycle now, or a car. Once you understand the components of a car, it has a steering wheel, has 2 pedals, it has the different gears. Once you understand the makeup and the components of that vehicle, you can now drive it. So once you understand the makeup of this vehicle, which is a human body, you can now drive it. You can now navigate it. You're no longer in a binary position, right? And I'm gonna get into the binary and trinary, and I'm gonna leave this up because it's gonna relate beautifully into the next segment of this presentation or this video that I'm gonna have here on YouTube. So again, I just wanna reiterate this because this is very important to know as a man, as a woman. Also, this exists on a binary system. The world is on a binary system, and I guess I'll just segue into that right now. So I'm gonna use a different marker just for people to understand it. So I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, comments, you can also leave those in the comment section, but I'm 10 minutes in, I'm gonna keep this segueing. So right now, this is the masculine and feminine force within everyone. Everybody has this. I'm not the only one who has it. Once you understand this math problem and you're able to solve this math problem with yourself, you then start to elevate. Then you start to elevate. You start to elevate and you have no limits once you elevate. Once you turn this right here to this and then turn this into that, just like the elevated state right here, once you elevate it, spiritually, energetically, you start to break out of the matrix, right? So this is all symbolism as well. You start to break out of the layers to the reality that we're living in. This reality that we're living in, it has a lot of layers to it, and those layers are put in front of you to keep you from getting to your elevated state. Some people call it a God consciousness. Some people say it's the best version. You have to reach your higher version. You're trying to live your best life, right? People, you have the highest version of yourself within this system right here once you crack the code. So again, I'm going to segue into binary and trinary. We're going to go over here real quick, and I'm also going to just put it right here in red, or I could put it in green. The colors don't matter. You're all colors. We're going to get into that as well. So this was the masculine and feminine forces. Right now, I'm going to get into the binary and trinary system. So this is very important. Always, something I have to share before I get any deeper into this YouTube channel with any other information. This is fundamental. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are as a man and a woman walking around in this reality. This is the truth they don't want you to know, right? So, binary and trinary system. Right now, the world is operating on a binary system. So that means that the world is on an edge-to-edge system. We are on a polarized system. So we have one pole. You can call it the masculine. We have one pole like this. And on the other edge, we have another pole like that. And what this is seen is opposite. These are seen as opposites, right? But this is a point-to-point system or an edge-to-edge system. This is a two system. This is a binary system. Now, what is a binary system? A binary system is a collection of energy, what we are. It's a collection of energy. It's a collection of thoughts. It's a collection of the reality that goes back and forth. It's a perpetual system. So this system right here does this. So if these are poles, let's say you have the masculine, and let's say on the other side you have a feminine, right? So this is the masculine pole, and then on another side you have the feminine pole, and that's it. Like that's the limitation that we're living in right now. So there is no limits to the reality we're living in. This reality we're living in is limitless. But because we're living on a binary system, what happens is that this system goes back and forth. So energies is transmitted from one pole to the other, and then you get energy from this pole going back to this pole. And this is perpetual. It's just back and forth. So if you look at this system as a whole, it exists on 180 degrees because it's a straight line. So I don't want to get people confused. This is a straight line. So right now this is 180 degrees, right? And again, as human beings, we're limitless. We have no limits. Our energetic potential is limitless. We have no limits. So by default, we were already confused by subscribing or accepting this system. And you see this with everything. This could be anything that you see that goes back and forth. This could be an argument. This could be war. This could be fighting. This is division. This is chaos. This is sports, which you have one team. This could be, instead of being the masculine or the feminine, this could be any sports team. Let's say, for example, the Super Bowl just happened, right? Let's say this is the Kansas City Chiefs, right here. Let's say KC, the Kansas City Chiefs, and let's say this was the San Francisco 49ers. Now I don't want to get too technical with it like that, because people who are fans of these teams, I'm not trying to, create any of that. I just want to make the example very clear for you. Now you have one team going against another team versus. This is a versus game. When you subscribe to this 180 degrees, when you subscribe to this binary, right now this is a binary system. When you subscribe to that binary system, you are subscribing to being limited. Your energy, who you are as an energetic being. You're subscribing to going back and forth, perpetual, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, never allowing yourself to elevate out the system or elevate out of the matrix, And again, Kansas City scores, San Francisco scores. Kansas City scores, San Francisco scores. Basketball, one team scores, another team scores. One team scores, another team scores, until that clock hits 0. Right? Until the clock hits 0, whoever had the most energetic output, whoever put out the most energy and was the most efficient, who was the most clean and clear with little mistakes, is the one that wins, right? And if you win, you actually end up in the middle. You don't end up on a side. So these are sides. When you choose any side, you're operating on a edge-to-edge system, right? So I just want to kind of expand on that. I'm going to kind of get away from just like the visual side of it, because I have to make this very clear. I have to be very transparent with what I'm presenting to you right now. You can do your own research. Don't take anything I'm telling you at face value. Take it with a big grain of salt. Right now, this is the Earth. We are operating on 180 degrees. We're operating on a binary system. And because we're operating on a binary system, there's always going to be a loophole. We never received the full 360 degrees. So when you go 180 times 2, guess what that gets you? 360 degrees. Guess what 360 degrees is? 360 degrees is a trinary system. You know why? Because a trinary system is a full circle. This right here, this binary system is half a circle. 180 degrees is half a circle. You see this line? It's a lot of stuff I'm putting on now, but this line right here is 180 degrees. When you go times 2, you hit 360 degrees, which gives you the full circle. So right now, we are operating right here. That's what we're operating on. Everyone, the way you perceive things, the way you comprehend things, the way you see things is only 180 degrees when really it's supposed to be 360 degrees to give you the full scope of things. So this is why you have a lot of people who believe in flat Earth, because we are operating on a binary system. And that's to keep you dividing. That's to keep you in division. That's to keep you in chaos. That's to keep you warring. That's to keep you arguing. So when you have two people, mind you, this system doesn't work unless there's another side. You can't do this on your own. I mean, unless you want to. You can argue with yourself. You can go to war with yourself. Again, you can be non-elevated. You can do this. You can do this on your own because if you don't have the information or the knowledge. So you can conflict with yourself involuntarily because you don't have the information or knowledge. So yeah, you can be non-elevated. Again, this all connects together. Internally, yes, you can be non-elevated because you think that you're just masculine, right? You think you're just masculine. Therefore, you walk around for the rest of your life thinking that you're just a masculine male and that's the only thing you have to you. So internally, you're just walking around as a black man, as an African American man. If I believe that I'm just masculine, I'm walking around all day not knowing that I also have a feminine component to me. So therefore, I'm conflicting with myself. That's going to cause confliction. Remember, the binary system is back and forth, right? It's a division system. It does it internally, and then also it does it externally. So now, I'm going to talk about the trinary system. Excuse me for a minute. I have to check my time. I'll be right back. So I have 21 minutes. I'm up on 21 minutes. I have about 13 minutes left, so I'm going to erase some of this, and I'm going to talk about the trinary system. And I hope that people can understand this. You can run this video back again, and I'm just going to get into the trinary system, right? We're going to talk about the trinary system. I have to be a little, quick because I don't have too much time on my phone. And I have to make sure I get the message to make it more clear. Again, I'll probably make a part 2 to this to make it make more sense, but you have to look at everything around you. Look at everything around you. Why is there so much war? Why is there so much chaos and division? Why every time you look on the TV, there's always that they're promoting and influencing drama and, people arguing and people fighting and fussing? Why isn't there something to balance it out? Why isn't there anything that's telling us that there's a balance to the reality? There's such a huge imbalance to the reality that we're being mentally conditioned to just accept this. No one, unless you're in the spiritual space, no one is really talking about balance. No one's talking about, hey, like there's a center point to be in the middle of everything that's going on. You don't, like the observer, you don't have to be on a side, right? So we're going to talk about the trinary system. Trinary system is what you should be aiming for, because remember, okay, so the last example I just had. So I just said the binary system, right? The binary system is this, right? Edge to edge. Hopefully you can see all this. It's an edge to edge system. This is the makeup of the binary system. You have one side and you have another side, and they go back and forth, right? When you have the trinary system, you have one side, you have another side, and then you have that right there, which is a 3 system, but it's really a 4 system. You can have this right here, plus, and then you can have a minus. Because now, you're no longer playing the division game. Let me make it more clear. You're no longer playing the division game, going back and forth, right? When you stop going back and forth, let me erase this to make it make more sense. When you stop going back and forth, and you realize you're both sides because you have both components within you, it gets you to the center. It puts you right in the center. You're no longer hanging on this side. You're no longer hanging on that side because you realize who you are as a human being. When you go to the center, guess what? You elevate. You elevate into this. You elevate into trinary, right? You go up. You see how the energy is moving? So the energy is no longer going back and forth. When you go back and forth, that right there is a limited system. Your energy is only limited. You're not going anywhere. You're not elevating. The goal is to elevate. The goal is to go up. The goal is to elevate. When you start to realize you're not on a binary system, you're no longer conflicting internally with who you are, you start to go you start to go up, 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 up into a point where they call this your higher self. They call this the God consciousness. They call this the best version of yourself. You are no longer illusionized. You are no longer confused. You are no longer in chaos. You're no longer being drugged down or dragged down by anybody or anything. You're self-master. We call this self-mastery. We call this God consciousness. And if you are able to elevate out of this system that we're in right now as human beings, the binary system, and you're able to elevate to the 360 degrees, because this right here, this back and forth is 180 degrees, which keeps you limited. Mind you, as human beings, we're not designed to be limited. We're not designed to go back and forth. Just like the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, you have left side brain thinkers, right side brain thinkers. But when you start to reach the harmony, when you understand this system, you get both the sides of the brain to work together. When you get them both to work together, and you're not using one side more than the other side, you're not using the right side more than the left side. When you start to use both sides of your brain together, when you get them to work in harmony, it opens this up. It opens up the middle part of your brain, which is called the corpus callosum. And that's where we get the dreams from. That's where you get this level of God consciousness, this God level. You're elevated. You break from the prism, you break from the matrix at this point, and you go up. And this right here is 360 degrees, because you have now figured out how to balance out both sides of who you are. Once you elevate, once you figure that out, it looks like math, right? I could easily do this too. I could easily boom. It looks like the y-axis and the x-axis, right? That's literally the human body. This is all a math. This is all a math equation. This is all a math problem. When you get this, now remember I said 360 degrees, right? Now look, when you get both sides working together, guess what? Look at that. You get 360 degrees. When you get 360 degrees, you get a full circle. Now that's the earth. Now we are in harmony. Now there's no more capitalism. People aren't tricking people. People aren't fooling people. There's no more war. This is what earth was when we first came here. Okay? People understood this knowledge. People understood these systems. People understood the inner workings of a human being. And they didn't want they didn't want the world to be balanced. They didn't want it to be natural. They didn't want it to be nature-like. They wanted it to be artificial and unnatural, because you can capitalize off of people in the binary system, right? Remember, I just showed you that. So you have people in the world, excuse me, I gotta check the phone again. I got about 7 minutes. When you have people in the beginning of civilization, in the beginning of man, understanding this math problem, this math equation that I'm just showing to you right now, they don't want you here. They don't want you on the trinary system. You know why? They don't want you on the trinary system. Trinary system, which is 360 degrees, where you're elevated. They don't want you internally like that. They don't want you externally like that. You know why? Because they want to keep you at a low vibration. They want to keep you limited. They want you going back and forth with everything, so you don't reach the level of feeling great all the time. You don't reach the level of feeling good all the time. Also, they can't capitalize off of you right here. When you are at this level, 360 degrees internally first, then you go externally. When you're at that level, There's no more illusion. There's no more tricks. There's no more games. They can no longer capitalize off you anymore. They can't just tell you anything and you're just going to accept it uncritically. They can no longer indoctrinate you any longer in this system. Are people understanding what I'm saying? So this is the goal with everything in life, because you deserve the highest quality of life. You deserve to be living in the highest qualities of life. They don't want you here. They want you going back and forth with everything. That's why they present information to you that way. They present the news to you in that way. And they want to keep indoctrinating you, because when you are at the lower vibrations, it's hard for you to think critically. You're not thinking critically. You're accepting information uncritically, and you're living life the same way. You're just going with the flow. You're just doing what everyone else is doing, conforming, submitting to things. They could tell you they passing a law, like right now, they pass laws in New York where people are going to have to start to pay to drive to go to work. People should, if you're on this system, the first time you hear that, oh no, what are we doing in our communities to make sure that doesn't happen? But because a lot of people are on the binary system, they don't care. They're uncritical to the information. Okay, because they've been conditioned over the years for so long. They've been conditioning people on the binary system for years. And people accept the information, they accept what's going on uncritically. It's a conditioning process, right? It's the same thing with the earth. The earth right now, let's say this is the earth. The earth is supposed to be 360 degrees. Because the earth isn't on a 360 degrees, we are experiencing the earth on 180 degrees. And because we are experiencing the earth on 180 degrees, we are all operating on 180 degrees. 180 degrees is the binary system. So we're not even living how we're supposed to be living and feeling how we're supposed to be feeling, because we're operating on a limited system. And as human beings, we're not limited, we're limitless. So I have to express this and have to be clear, because it's the truth. Okay? So this is the earth. That's why you have a lot of people who believe in flat earth, because this is half. That's half. When you are operating on an edge to edge, look at that. That's half. This is flat. So yeah, this is a flat. We're experiencing the world. We're experiencing reality on a flat, limited system right now. Only until we collectively raise our level of vibration, we get to that 360 degrees. Therefore, there's no more anything that you don't want to see in your reality. There's no more that. Everybody's elevated. The earth comes online. Again, let me get back to the earth, because the earth has a certain frequency or a certain hertz. And right now, let's say I think the earth is on like a 732 hertz. The earth is vibrating on a higher frequency than that. The earth, that means all elements, right? Remember this right here, the cross? Also, this is the symbol of balance. The cross is a symbol of balance, right? This also is the earth, which I just said is on a higher hertz. You have the water. Look how this all makes sense. It all connects. You have the water, you have the air, you have the fire, and then you have the earth. Look at that. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Look, bone, cross. It all makes sense, right? It all connects. That means that when the earth is not being attacked, because there's an attack on the earth, the water, the food, everything's being attacked and going artificial and unnatural. When that stops happening, so right now, again, like I said, the earth is on a binary system. Therefore, it's stuck at this frequency or hertz. Once the earth is not being attacked any longer, it starts to raise. The vibration, the hertz, the frequency of the earth starts to raise. And guess what starts to happen? These elements start to come alive. They start to become animate. They start to go back to their natural states. Right now, the earth is in a coma because it's being attacked so much. So right now, these controllers of the world, they are limiting the earth, and they're keeping the earth at a certain level in a vibration and frequency, because if they don't do that, you're going to see at 360 degrees, you're going to see that you're going to be drinking the best water, breathing in the best air, and that's natural, that's nature, right? So I hope all of this makes sense. The reason why I had to speed it up there a little bit, because I don't have a lot of time. I don't even know if the time's still going right now. Excuse me again. Let me check real quick. Wow, I only got a couple seconds. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like. Thank you so much. Peace out.